That was what Newport Beach, California looked like over the holiday weekend. More than 400 people were arrested, most of them young and minors. It took police officers 36 hours to stop the mayhem. It started when a massive crowd started brawling and setting off illegal fireworks on Saturday night. The Newport Beach Police Association said that at times, officers were outnumbered 500 to 1. The mayor is blaming social media. Quote, a large group of agitators invaded Newport Beach, spurred on by an alleged TikTok takeover. These persons came to our city with the intent on causing harm, injury, and destruction, bringing harassment, disturbances, and mayhem. Kaylee, we'll start with you on this one. This has confounded law enforcement in multiple communities across the nation. It's been hard to address due to the fact that the organizers can gather people up on the internet and send them somewhere where perhaps the police are not expecting.
Yeah, and the footage of this shows that this wasn't just a bunch of teens setting off illegal fireworks or running wild on the beach. They were looting nearby businesses and stores. In fact, all of the local restaurants, all of the businesses had to shut down. One of the grocery stores in the area I saw online was completely destroyed after these teens ran in and just started throwing things off of the shelves. And I think that all cities at this point need to learn from Miami Beach, Florida, and from the state of Florida in general, which had a very big problem with spring break ruckus for many, many years. And what Miami Beach decided to do was they implemented a number of policies to crack down on that. They started charging high fees for parking for locals who wanted to come in and park for the day, upwards of $100. They started surging the police presence to those beaches where spring break visitors were frequenting, including sending state troopers there. They started enforcing alcohol-related restrictions, and the results speak for themselves. Crime in the area is down 8% from 2024 to 2025. They cracked down on several shootings that had happened the year prior, so the results speak for themselves. The problem, of course, is that in many of these states that are not Republican-run, you have Democratic officials who don't want to crack down on lawless behavior. They don't want to crack down on crime. So whereas Miami Beach was receiving support from the state and from Governor DeSantis to do that, I highly doubt that Governor Newsom is going to encourage the good people of Newport to do that themselves.
Yeah, and prosecutors in this case, we've seen the police make a number of arrests, but the challenge is the follow-through. What are people charged with? What happens? What repercussions do they face in the long run?
Yeah, and the question is not just the young people that I think are actually involved in these teen takeovers on the beaches across the city, in California, but also across the United States. It's also a question of, where are the parents? I'm sorry to say it. I think I can say that question because I am a parent myself. Where are the parents and where is their responsibility in all this? And I think there's an ongoing discussion as to whether parents have to face repercussions for the bad behavior of their youth when they're caught taking over towns, especially during holiday weekends. You know, the city of Chicago actually just shot down a measure that would have penalized parents, held them accountable, fining them up to $1,000. And the debate there being, you're just going to penalize parents that are probably already cash-strapped versus, well, we have to do something because these young people are not learning their lesson and parents have to be held accountable too. I think we have to get the answers to those types of questions in order to move this forward.
David.
Look, don't blame the algorithm in TikTok. They're going to go after open spaces. It's new. Newport Beach is new, so they're going to go there. Punish the kids. Put them in jail, prosecute them, your point about the state. By the way, I live in Miami. I saw that shutdown. I saw the shutdown of the George Floyd attempted riots and marches. Miami Beach said, no more. You're going to jail. We're going to prosecute you if you're a juvenile under juvenile code, adult under adult code. And that's a big difference. But enough of this. They're damaging, destroying property, causing businesses. And where the parents are absent, then punish the kid. Because the kid or the young person, 18 or over, is an adult, punish them. Put them in jail for a night with an adult in a full adult facility if you're over 18. Let them meet a real criminal and look at their future.
Yeah, these officers are facing dangerous situations, and fireworks are no joke, just setting up random fireworks on the beach.
I think a lot of what we have discussed, rightly so, is reactive and having these people suffer the consequences, but proactive, parents. But there's also getting ahead of the problem. Perhaps they're going to sit down today and think about what we could have done differently. They've never seen this in Newport Beach before. This was incredible. Right. These people are not from Newport Beach. The police are saying that these were people coming in from outside states with intent to harm and destruct and have this happen. So perhaps there needs to be a big discussion about monitoring social media to find out when these groups are organizing so that they can staff up, police up, and know to expect it and combat it.
Look, they need to go look at the algorithm, look at who started this, work with TikTok in this case. If you're going to go to the source and start punishing those people if you can.
All right. We will be right back. More Outnumbered in just a moment.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.